Hey everyone, and welcome to Humanities 1101 at West Georgia Technical College. This video is going to give you a brief overview of all the important things that you'll need to know in order to successfully complete this class. There are some potentially confusing elements to the class, and so I highly recommend completing this video all the way to the end so that you make sure that you don't miss something that's important that might make the difference between passing and failing this class. So let's get started. So obviously, if you found this video, then you have learned how to navigate this menu here to the left, and you've clicked on the Lessons tab, and you've come inside to the course, and you've clicked the Getting Started link. That's great. So from there, what you need to know about this class. The first thing is that you will primarily be using these two textbooks located right here. They're divided into parts because they're pretty long PDF documents. You're welcome to download them to your computer or to use this link each time that you need to use the textbooks. And each week you will come down and you will find the lesson or lessons that we are studying in that week, and you'll click on it and you'll enter into an area that will give you all the content that you need for that particular lesson. At the beginning of each lesson, you will have an agenda that will tell you everything that you need to do. And you will also have some learning objectives that'll tell you a little bit about what we hope that you will have learned by the end of the lesson. Each lesson is broken into 3 learning components. You have your readings right here. Most weeks you will have something from the textbook. And you will also have what we call primary source readings, which means that you'll be reading material that was written during or closely during, close to the time that we are studying each week. And then you will have videos that are going to supplement your learning, because I want you guys to be able to, it's great if you read about music or theater or, anything like that. It's something different to actually experience it. The videos are included in the quizzes, so be sure to watch them in their entirety, unless there's a specific instruction that tells you that you can just watch a small portion of it. So once you've done the readings, you'll move on to the virtual observations, because once again, I want you to actually be immersed in the literature, religion, architecture, art, philosophy, music, science of the periods that we're studying. So I want you to be able to be transported there. I want you to go there, and I want you to explore on your own. I want you to learn things that you're just not going to learn in a textbook. And so you'll complete these virtual observations each week, where you will actually get to go and look. And for the most part, a lot of the virtual observations, you get to drive where you're going and what you're looking at. But you'll need to complete every virtual observation each week, because again, each virtual observation is most likely included in that week's quiz. And then once you've completed your virtual observations, you will take a 10-question quiz. The quiz is multiple choice or multiple answer, and you can take it again and again until you've learned the material. So take advantage of that particular opportunity. But it's not going to be sufficient, and you're not going to be able to pass the class by just doing the quizzes and the tests. You must also engage in the discussion board. And this discussion board is laid out just a little bit more differently than probably any other class that you've ever taken. So this is where I really need you to listen and pay attention. The discussion board, when you enter it, you won't be able to see anything until after you have made your initial post. So you can't read anybody else's posts. You'll come into the discussion board and you're going to hit create thread, and you'll be able to see all of the instructions that you need that week. Please pay attention to the instructions each week, as there are some weeks that may be just a little bit different from others. So each week you're going to come in and you're going to have one initial post and 2 replies. So you will come and look at all the questions that I've asked, and you're going to have one post that is going to answer one of the questions that I've posed to you guys. And your response to that question should be about 300 words. And then in about 150 words, you are going to include a section at the bottom of that that includes all the questions that you still have. If you are wondering about an ancient civilization's creation myths, you get to say, like, I wonder how they were so similar, even though they were on opposite sides of the world. Or how did the Egyptians build the pyramids, or whatever we're talking about that week. Any question you still have, you're going to include at the bottom of your initial post. Each initial post is due on Friday nights by 11:59 p.m. This ensures that you and all of your classmates have plenty of time on Saturday and Sunday to do responses to one another. You've had time to look through and read everybody else's and to actually respond. And then when you reply to your classmates, this is where it gets particularly, maybe just a little more different than what you've experienced in the past. You will reply to 2 classmates, and each reply will be 150 words minimum. You must choose a topic that is different than the topic you yourself did your initial post on. So if you answered question 1 down here in your initial post, you have to answer classmates who have written about art or music and literature or architecture, math, and science. And each of your responses must be different than the other as well. So all 3 of the posts you do each week have to be on completely different subjects. So at the end of the week, you've had conversations about 3 of the 4 of the topics that we're discussing. Your reply should not be just a mini lecture. You should focus on the questions that have been asked by your classmate or the content written by your classmate, not just your own opinion about that. That's your initial post. You get to talk about what you want to talk about in that initial post. In your replies to your classmates, you are having a true conversation. So you have to reply to what they are discussing. And then in one of your 2 replies to your classmates, you will need to ask a question that furthers that conversation. So this is something more than, well, what do you think about this? But it might be something like, well, why do you think that these 2 cultures on 2 opposite sides of the world had such similar creation myths? I noticed that you mentioned this and this. So tell me more about that. However that really looks like for you, but it has to actually engage with the content of your classmates' discussion. So, kind of a recap. 1 initial post, 300 words, and then a paragraph or so containing all your questions. Respond to 2 classmates at 150 words each. One of those responses must include a question, and all 3 of your posts have to be on a different topic that we've discussed that week. And then finally, sometimes you'll need to do research. Sometimes you'll just be able to answer based on the readings you've done. If you include any information that is someone else's opinion, thought, or research, you must quote them. If you have a direct quotation, it must be in quotation marks with a source listed. If you paraphrase them, you must indicate who it has been paraphrased from and where you got that information and which pieces of the information belong to someone else, because it's stealing to use someone else's opinions or research in your own work. This includes if you decide that you're going to copy and paste an answer from Quizlet, you got to quote somebody on Quizlet. But guess what? Quizlet is just other students like yourself who are not experts in this field. So don't use Quizlet. Actually do the research to answer these questions, because I'm not grading for grammar, spelling, punctuation, and that sort of thing. I am grading for your thoughts. I want to see that you have read the material and that you're thinking about that material in a critical way that ensures to me that you're actually thinking about what we have read and not just reading it and then forgetting it. Now, the final important piece that you need to know about navigating this class is these announcements. Every week, you will receive announcements that will tell you a little bit about what we're doing that week. It may include extra information. It may have bonus points or an opportunity to not have to do a full assignment and get an alternative assignment instead. You never know what might appear in those announcements. So be sure that each and every week when you see the announcements come through in your email, that you are reading them. If the announcements aren't coming to your email or you don't check your email often, which you should be, then you need to be sure that you are coming to these announcements each and every single week. If you have any questions or concerns about the class at all, please use this messaging feature that's located directly in Blackboard. Don't send us an email in our West Georgia Tech email addresses. You need to keep all course communication located directly within the course by coming to the Messages tab, and then you can send a message directly to your instructor, and your instructor will respond just as quickly as they possibly can. Please let us know if you do have questions or concerns or however we can help you, because the truth is that as instructors, we want to help you succeed in this class, but we don't know what you need unless you're communicating with us. So please open that channel of communication and let us know how we can support you. I hope you enjoyed this class and have a great semester.